Greetings adventurers, it's Lorne again, finally after quite a long absence for which I will wholeheartedly apologize, but I'm here to kick off the start of my new DanMachi story focus by talking about the upcoming DanMachi movie, Era of the Orion. Remember that Era of the Orion takes place some time after the first season of DanMachi, and despite being an original movie, not adapting any light novel content, the movie's script is written by Fujino Omori, the author of the light novels. The movie releases February 15th in Japan and is licensed by Sentai Filmworks for a theatrical release sometime in 2019. Hopefully it's no longer than 2 or 3 months after the movie releases in Japan. We did get an extended trailer for the movie back in December, but what I would like to address in particular first is the short 13-minute prologue found in the DanMachi mobile game DanMachi Memoria Freeze, also known as DanMemo, which is localized by Crunchyroll. If you're a fan of DanMachi and haven't tried out the mobile game quite yet, you can download the app from your respective mobile app stores for iOS and Android. The game is quite free-to-play friendly, especially if all you're looking for is additional scenes and scenarios involving the characters of DanMachi. Keep in mind that all the quests are voiced, and it easily eclipses the voice content available from the main series and Sword Art Toria animes combined. This Prequel Moon Prelude event is something new players can easily start playing through after an hour of adjusting to the game. Remember that the event itself lasts until March 28th, but the story segment itself should still be available to be viewed afterwards. If you don't want to download the app and have no interest in mobile games, I will upload the whole event onto a secondary channel and I'll provide a link to the video in the description. I'll also be periodically uploading all the other events in the game as well. A lot of the past events are available to view via the Story Digest feature in the game, but not every single event has been added in for players who were not around for the events. Anyway, let's get started with the prequel discussion. This short prequel, written by Omori-sensei, opens up by putting us in the point of view of Lante, a member of Artemis Familia. Keep in mind that the goddess Artemis is the central character of focus for the Era of the Orion movie. In this opening, we are treated to a lot of background information involving the Familia itself. Artemis Familia is revealed to be a female-only Familia. Members of the Familia are also not permitted to be involved in any romantic relationships. Artemis later claims the reason that she has this rule about romance is because she would lose her identity as a goddess of purity, being part of the 3 virgin goddesses. To those not versed in Greek mythology, the 3 virgin goddesses of the Greek pantheon are Athena, Artemis, and Hestia. Artemis does reference that she had a friend in the immortal realm, which is most likely a reference to Hestia, as we haven't seen Athena mentioned or used in the DanMachi story yet. You can also tell by the trailers that Artemis and Hestia seem to get along pretty well. Let's go back to Artemis' insistence on sticking to her identity as a virgin goddess. One can't help but feel like something may have happened in Artemis' past, causing her to have this stubborn reasoning. We know pretty well that Hestia doesn't stick to the idea of being a goddess of purity by avoiding romance because of her active pursuit of Belle's feelings. Lante and the rest of the Familia voice their own opinions on wanting Artemis to know what love is and give it a chance, but Artemis merely entertains the thought, stating that she'll allow herself to dream about such things but never seek it in reality. If something did happen in Artemis' past to make her feel this way, what could it be? Omori-sensei obviously takes a lot of inspiration from many different mythologies for the universe of DanMachi, Greek mythology being particularly prominent. Given that the title of the movie is Era of the Orion, one could assume that the Orion from Greek mythology has some importance in the overall narrative of the film. There are many different tellings of the myths about both Artemis and Orion, but I'll go over the ones I think may be referenced in the upcoming movie. Orion was once a hunter who hunted with Artemis in Crete. In one of the versions of the story, Artemis actually fell in love with Orion, but was tricked by her jealous twin brother Apollo, Season 2, into killing Orion with her bow and arrow. Another version has Gaia, the primordial goddess of the earth, create a scorpion that kills Orion and they both become constellations. These 2 versions of the story end in tragedy. Both the trailers and artwork for the movie, as well as the mobile game, place a lot of focus on the moon, as Artemis is the goddess of the moon as well as the hunt, empathized by her willingness to fight alongside her Familia with her bow and arrow. We don't see too many gods and goddesses engage in combat, because they aren't allowed to use their powers, and if they do get fatally injured, they'll be sent back to the immortal realm and be unable to return to the mortal realm. but Artemis has absolute confidence in her shot, which gives her much praise from the members of her familia. Speaking of Artemis' familia, we don't have a character design for our point of view character, Lante, but we do get to see the captain of Artemis' familia, Retusa. Retusa appears to be a very responsible and capable captain who Artemis can depend on. I am also a fan of her calm and cool design. At the very least, I hope she ends up as a playable character in the mobile game. The curious thing about Retusa is that this is actually the first we've seen her in any Heir of the Orion material. Actually, before we were introduced to this prologue event, we didn't know about any members of Artemis' familia and have only seen Artemis herself in the promotional material for the movie, including the trailers. This begs the question, since this small event serves as a prologue to the movie, does something happen to Artemis' familia which causes her to go into Orion and seek out her friend Hestia? We know that Artemis' familia has to be decently strong, because Retusa mentions that they cleared out the dragons nesting in the mountains outside of a village. Monsters outside the dungeon are not as strong as their dungeon counterparts, but dragons are still formidable enemies. At the very least, I would expect some of the members of the familia to be level 3. They even mention that countless towns and countries have been saved by us. Towards the end of the prologue, Artemis mentions that the familia has a job to go on in uncharted territory. This is where I feel the movie will start from. Artemis' familia encounters a disaster situation and buys enough time for Artemis to escape, prompting her to go seek out Hestia in Orion. When we do go into the trailer itself, we see that Belle accepts a quest from Artemis. Please forgive me for not being able to analyze the trailer as much as I would like. I've yet to see anyone translate the latest trailer, and automatic subtitles based off the Japanese speech recognition on YouTube isn't really that reliable. The party that seems to go outside of Orion with Belle consists of Hestia, Lily, Welf, Artemis, and Hermes. Osfi is not in this campfire scene, but she has scenes with Hermes, and the scene with Artemis giving a speech includes Belle's party along with Hermes' familia. This is most likely before the final battle type of speech. The party rides winged creatures and sets off towards some ruins for the quest, which I assume is related to the job Artemis' familia initially had. During the trailer, Artemis says the name of a monster which sounds like Antares, or Antares, the name of the brightest star in the constellation of Scorpio. The monster we see in the trailer actually resembles a scorpion's characteristics to me, and as I mentioned previously, one of the stories about Orion and Artemis involves a scorpion killing Orion. We can't quite make out the full design of the monsters in this shot with Ryu, but it really seems like they resemble scorpions here with what appears to be stingers above their bodies. As for the other characters, we've seen shots of Misha and Aina from the guild, panicking like something is urgent, which could mean a disturbance from the dungeon or Orion itself. There's also a crowd shot with characters from Miyake familia and Takemikazuchi familia to reinforce that. We're also treated to another shot with Loki familia and Otter, who appear to be taking care of something in the dungeon. I don't think there'll be a big focus on them, but hopefully we do see a cool scene with Otter, because despite being the only known level 7 in the DanMachi universe, we haven't seen him in too much action between the two animes. Most of the focus in the movie will definitely be with Belle's party and Artemis, and maybe a substantial scene with Ryu, since she's heavily featured in the movie visual despite not appearing in the party that goes with Artemis to the ruins. I have no complaints about my favorite character getting some screen time. In the final part of the trailer, we can see Belle in desperation, probably due to a lack of faith in his own strength. And we also see Osfi chastising Hermes for what I can assume is him enacting one of his plans to pressure Belle into a difficult situation in order to advance his vision of Belle becoming a great hero. Of course, we pretty much all believe that Belle will get through this trial. If you take a closer look at the spear Belle is holding, it might have something to do with the Heir of the Orion title in the movie. However, one thing to note, which was brought up by Reddit user MDM604, is that the weapon that Belle is using resembles a weapon mentioned in Volume 5 of the Sword Oratoria light novels. I don't really consider the following information spoilers to the story, since it really serves as additional background information to the universe of DanMachi rather than spoiling something in the overall narrative, but you have been warned. The following content would appear in the first few episodes of a theoretical Season 2 for Sword Oratoria. Belle ends up being quizzed by Tiona on information on the various myths and legends that they have both read. One of the stories in question involved the weapon that Giorgio the Dragon Slayer used to kill a dragon. Belle answers Tiona's question by revealing that a spear-like holy sword and a maiden's ribbon was used to accomplish this feat. And what do we see on this spear-like weapon that Belle uses in the trailer? A ribbon. Now, this might be just a friendly nod to people who have read the Sword Oratoria light novels, but this is still an interesting piece of information that is easily overlooked. But whatever the case may be, whether or not all the things I mentioned are correct conjectures or not, I'm very much looking forward to this movie and learning more about Artemis and her familia. Once more, we'll be able to see Belle be challenged by obstacles no adventurer his level has to face. But in order to become the hero he aspires to be, he must confront these challenges like this new one, like the heroes of old once did in the stories and legends he is so fond of. Go forth, Belle Crannel! Thank you for watching this video and sticking with me and my channel. I realize it's been a long time since I stated I would be focusing on story content, and it's taken this long to release such a video. I took a bit of a longer break than I had planned, but I definitely have plans for more story related content in the future. Hopefully Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't eat up all my time. If you like this video, please go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. To stay updated on my happenings, follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. Continue enjoying your time adventuring in Orion and the dungeon. This is Lorne, signing out.